Hello and welcome to another Daily Muppet. In today's video, we're going to talk about Andre Onana officially signed, announced, and with the team in New York. Talk about the Alex Telles deal and why this has potentially fallen through. We'll talk about Sofyan Amrabat, some new news I have there, as well as Rasmus Højlund and when we can expect a bid. And then talk about the takeover, some of the news that's been coming recently, and if it means United are not being sold. Okay, so, let's get into Onana first. He obviously was able to finally depart from Manchester yesterday morning and arrived around 6 p.m. local time in New York. The deal was finally announced yesterday alongside some good entertainment. It was revealed that he would wear the number 24, a number that he prefers, that is just close to him and that he likes. So nothing really to read into that aside from the fact that our squad's numbers are going to be nuts. I mean, absolutely bizarre if you think about it. With Onana coming in, he's there. It's Thursday, Friday now. He's got the day. He was in training, so he was fit. He's done medicals. I think he's going to play on Saturday. And real interestingly, we may see our starting 11 for the actual season itself tomorrow, regardless of what other signings occur right now. If you think about it, Luke Shaw there, present, Malaysia injured. Luke Shaw very likely to start. Lisandro Martinez and Varane have played a few games. Wan-Bissaka has been starting. Onana, if he can start in the back. Casemiro will play. Bruno will play. Mason Mount will definitely play. Sancho, Rashford, Antony. That is very likely to be our starting 11 come the beginning of the season. Now, if and when we sign Rasmus Højlund, because I do think we will, obviously this could change a little bit. But at times, and maybe as the season go on, Rasmus Højlund will establish himself as that striker, that starting striker. But I would not be surprised if for a big chunk of the year, it's still going to be Marcus Rashford at striker and Sancho and Antony on the wings. That wouldn't be surprising. So by July 22nd, not a month before the start of the year, but a good 3 weeks, and with 4 or 5 games to play in preseason, Manchester United may have their next season starting 11 figured out. When's the last time we had that happen? When's the last time that occurred? And that is why I think it's a good deal. Now, obviously, we're saying, well, we should be getting a starting striker quality in that allows us to change the starting 11 a little bit more. But regardless, in terms of the expectations and reality, this is where we're at. So, yeah, I expect that we will see, that we will actually see our starting 11 play in the first game of the year. Tomorrow at Arsenal, and the first game of the year will likely be the same, barring, obviously any fitness issues and things like that. And if you're, a numbers person, as I was saying, that it's kind of crazy, but you're going to have 24 in goal. You're going to have 6 and 19 at center back. You're going to have 23 at left back. You're going to have, what's Wan-Bissaka again here? 29 at right back. In the midfield, you've got 8. At least we have one number correct. 8, 7, and and then Casemiro at 18. And then up front, 25, 10, and 21. So the worst formation for anybody who likes to have those nice, clean, small numbers in sequence for the team. But it just funny, just something that's funny. Our numbers have been crazy. Obviously, some numbers could still change with the 4 being available if Rafael Varane wants to take that, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's going to change. I'm not sure many of them are going to at this point in time. Not that it really matters. So Andre Onana in, great deal, excellent, and very excited about it. I mean, for me, there was a point here where I was concerned that let me just see something here. Oh no, that's not what that is. Okay, there was a point here where I think for a lot of us coming towards the end of the season with some of the stuff, the FA Cup final, the Gea, some of the things that have happened, where many of us were thinking, you know what, goalkeeper would be like top of my list over everything, a ball-playing goalkeeper. And I still feel that way. And that's what I think today, and I don't think it's likely to change. So getting a goalkeeper in and getting a midfielder that can play the way we want to and have that style stay the way that it should be is, to me, excellent. And getting that in to where we can really play the Ten Hag way, which we can now. We have the players. This is it. It's there. Obviously, I'm not saying you might see later on. Do we need a right back in the future? Will Wan-Bissaka or Dalot be good enough? We'll see on that. But otherwise, you look at this team, it's a Ten Hag team. It's a Ten Hag team. It's a team that should suit players like Jadon Sancho and Anthony better. Let's see how they do. Let's see how Mount does. I'm really keeping an open mind on some of these players, even myself, that I haven't rated that highly now until we see how this works. Okay. The other piece of news, obviously, that came out yesterday, Bruno Fernandes, surprisingly, not at all, was announced formally as the club captain for Manchester United. This was, the obvious choice. Let me see what's going on with my camera because it keeps doing that. Hold on. Let me do this. The obvious choice for so many reasons. The leader on the pitch, the leader at the club, and as well, one of the big factors is he speaks like 33 languages. That's a joke, but he speaks Italian, Portuguese, English, and Spanish, which I think about covers everybody in the team. And that does matter. Communication is big. Being able to talk to everybody is big. It is important. And Bruno exemplifies what you'd want out of a leader at United, and is a leader in every facet of the word. I got to figure out my camera later because it's flipping back and forth on the colors. You probably may not notice it so much if you're not paying close attention, but it is rather strange. So, announced as captain. So, moving on to Alex Telles. So, this was something I think we exclusively kind of reported. I know there were some things out there. I have no idea how to judge the reliability of it, like Saudi journalists and things like that. There were some rumors and things. But I was, yesterday, very early for me, it was around 9 a.m. UK time, maybe 10, I got a message that it was looking like Alex Telles' deal to Al Nassr had fallen through, and that they weren't going to do it. And then there's somebody I speak with that's actually just a part of our community that he was like, hey, I know people here, and I've never expected that it would be relevant to Manchester United until this whole recent thing. Said, look, he said it's fallen through. They've changed their mind. Management decided they did not want to buy Alex Telles. So it looks like that deal has fallen through. Later on in the evening, Fabrizio Romano said that they had not yet signed the documents and that they were looking at other options in Saudi. There's issues with number of foreign players, things like that. I don't know what the exact issue is, but it's something related to that. So they've changed their mind. Alex Telles' deal at this moment is off. Now, if Saudi cannot pursue and get their other targets, will they come back? I don't know. As of right now, I'm just told that it's off and it's not happening. So that was a piece of information that we received and reported that does appear to be correct. And, at the moment, I don't even know if United were totally informed that the deal was off or they were just still waiting. But as I hear it, maybe talks could resume, but it is as of yesterday off, and I haven't gotten any new update yet. They did fail in a bid for Diaby, who's going to Aston Villa now. Maybe it opens up a foreign slot and they come back, but now they're talking about Eric Bailly. I don't know about that one yet. I haven't gotten to find out. I will ask the source about it, but apparently Eric Bailly in talks with Al Nassr as well. Maybe they wanted to focus on a center back. I don't know. So I'll find out anything else I can, but at the moment, Alex Telles to Manchester United, not happening. To Manchester United, from Manchester United to Al Nassr, not happening. So that's what's unfortunate now. I think obviously he's still going to depart. He's not with the team. He'll go somewhere, but as it was stated, all the other offers for him to leave were free, and so they may have to compromise now to get him off the wages, because as of now, he's not going to Al Nassr to Saudi. Okay, so moving on to Højlund and Amrabat. So obviously, these are the next two targets. it's been established for over a month. It's real interesting. Obviously our information this summer, I think, has been very good. And here's where it gets kind of funny. I think our information is always very good. Not always, but for the last year or 2 years has been very good. 2 years ago, we knew it was Varane and Sancho, and we signed both of them as the top targets. Last year, total mess. The targets we were talking about, we didn't sign like any of them in the beginning, except Tyrone Malacia. I had that one pretty good because I said that he wanted to wait for United, and he ended up signing. But part of the point that I'm trying to make here has nothing actually to do with me. When I hear targets, a lot of times if they don't happen, it's because they just didn't happen. It doesn't mean that they weren't the actual targets. It doesn't mean Darwin Nunez and Jurrien Timber weren't real targets last year. They were. We didn't get it done. We got gazumped by Liverpool and then Timber, and there was issues with money. And as you can see, the checkbook didn't even open up till later in the year. This summer is going much more according to plan. We knew that Harry Kane and Osimhen would be too difficult probably, so we'd have to move on to alternate targets. And sometime in April, it changed to where Rasmus Højlund became a very legitimate option and a good backup, like pretty much the first alternative to these main targets. So talks are there with Rasmus Højlund. As I understood it, I got Wednesday night that talks were set to take place over Thursday, and I believe still again today. Now, one of the things I want to make very clear is similar to Andre Onana, on the Italian side, the media kind of pushes the deal a bit ahead of where it is. That is a fact. They push the deal ahead of where it is. A bid has not been made, an offer has not been made, and I wouldn't expect one for yet a few more days, but the talks are there and the talks are occurring. Even when they sometimes report an offer, it hasn't quite been made yet. It's more like in informal discussions on this is a price we'd probably be willing. Let's go see if we're going to go make a bid. Those talks are occurring between the clubs right now. Obviously, they're not interested in players. United are looking for a deal in the range of 45 to 50 million pounds plus add-ons, but not too many. They want maybe 50, 55 million euros plus 8 to 10 of real performance-based add-ons to get it up to in the range of 60 million euros. They think that's a fair price for what is a prospect at this point in time and a player who only played, 1,800 minutes last year, 9 goals. It's a prospect. And they think that a 60 million fee that has some add-ons baked into it is very fair. The price from Atalanta obviously is wildly varied, but they're probably looking for 70. And so that's where the negotiation is going to take place. I think finally we'll see a very similar deal to Onana and Mount, which were both 55 million pounds and 55 million euros respectively, to about probably closer to the Mount deal, maybe 50, 55 million pounds plus some add-ons in the end. And that will probably get it done if they do it. I'll talk about if it's going to happen so quickly yet in the next section. But the other thing that I am told on Sofyan Amrabat, who is very much a target for Manchester United, is this. The interest in Sofyan Amrabat is very legitimate. He is a serious option for Manchester United. As we've been talking about for months and months, it's legitimate. If the offers are not there from Spain, from Atletico, and from Barcelona primarily, which it doesn't look like they are, then he would choose and go to Manchester United should they offer a deal. They're not going to want to pay too much, and it's not imminent because this Højlund thing needs to be wrapped up, and there's a few other sales that need to be wrapped up first. But it is a serious option for Sofyan Amrabat, and I would not be surprised if by the end of this window they do also sign him in addition to Rasmus Højlund. So that's just something to keep in mind, but not imminent. But as I understand it, is looking like a real possibility for this window now. So let's move on to spending and sales and some of the stuff with the takeover. Obviously, you've gotten these reports about takeover not happening, takeover on pause, parties waiting, Ratcliffe wants to wait it out. Sheikh just seemed frustrated, not getting the answer. Neither of them getting an answer, to be clear. No bias here. But here's a couple of thoughts that I have. A month ago, we talked about how it was slow and how the concerns about spending, and especially spending on things like the credit line and all of that. Concerns about how there was concerns, and it was well documented and reported that after Mount, we needed some clarity before spending on anything else. Now what's happened? In talks with Onana done after Mount pretty efficiently. Already in talks with Højlund for a deal. Very interested in Amrabat. We're looking like a potential right now up to maybe 200 million euros window, which pretty good. United will have to go into probably that credit line to be getting these deals done right now. It's obvious that the money's been made available to do the necessary deals that are happening. And as I said before, if you started to see that spending without a report on a selected bidder or anything like that, and that they're in that phase, I would consider that to indicate that the Glazers expect to be here a bit longer. And I'm not talking necessarily meaning like a year or anything like that, but through the window for sure, which is guaranteed, and potentially even longer than that. It is an investment. There is no way around saying it's not an investment. They didn't have to spend this money like they did for the football club. They didn't have to spend this money if they were about to sell to somebody. They could have let the window just be crappy. It wasn't going to devalue the club. Qatar's not pulling their offer. Srdjan Ratcliffe's not pulling his offer. They haven't. They weren't gonna if just because transfers didn't happen this summer. So they have so if you think about it logically, they have invested. However, there was always going to be some money available. I think they spent the Højlund money on Onana. But here comes the question, okay? Do they move ahead without huge sales on getting Højlund, on getting Amrabat in quickly? And I mean over the next few weeks before the season starts. Because if so, I do think there's legs to, unfortunately, the idea that they will stay. And to me, it's looking like they're thinking they can stay further. And I strongly believe that at very least, Joel and Avram have dug their heels in and said, we're not leaving. And they see a lot of upside in the future. And that is totally true. They see a lot of upside in the future. They have to do something, though, in order to get the stadium, in order to do the things that happen. And that might be the partial sale to Jim Ratcliffe, waiting it out, pressuring the siblings, saying they're not going to fully sell. So accept this Sir Jim offer and go with it, or we'll just all stick around and you'll never get to cash out, or something else. But something's got to happen long term, but I don't know how soon it will be now. Obviously, this is why I said I think that might be a scenario that Joel and Avram are pushing for. Wait it out, pressure the siblings, and say, we'll just stick. You won't get paid at all if you won't take this deal, and you won't get on board with it because we're not leaving. And that's maybe why Sir Jim Ratcliffe basically said he's willing to be patient and wait, because he thinks that that's almost the inevitable outcome. Right or wrong, that's one theory, one possibility. The other theory is simply they're going to spend and stay, and they think the cash and the upside and the changes they expected over the next 6 to 12 months in interest rates will allow them to fund and finance a stadium with improved income, with improved budget and all that. Obviously, that's the worst case scenario. So, or they're just waiting and hoping that Qatar come in and pay another 500 million, right? Also a possibility. Either way, to me, it seems obvious they're not totally ready to accept the deals that are on the table right now, at least not all in accord for it, right? All in agreement. It has to be a unanimous decision. So just pay attention, and obviously I'm keeping an eye on it, but in terms of the transfers, expect that Anthony Elanga's been sold to Nottingham Forest for £15 million. That's a good deal for United. There's still not a ton of money available, but keep an eye on it. It's advancing on the sale of Dean Henderson. They should then be able to bring in Rasmus Højlund. It's still outs before ins, so I think it's being dealt with very well. But there's obviously money available now also. But just keep an eye. If things really start pushing forward, then it's pretty obvious what's happening. But we'll just have to evaluate and watch based on what occurs. But in terms of the timing on all these deals now, just to wrap this whole discussion up and this whole video up, after Elanga is sold and after Henderson is sold is when I expect the Højlund offer to go in. And then with regards to Fred and McTominay departing and Van de Beek, I think you're going to need to see most of them, at least two of them, of those three depart for Sofyan Amrabat to come in. Okay, so that's what I've got for this video. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the Arsenal game on Saturday. As a final note, as I mentioned on Twitter and elsewhere, I will be in Las Vegas for the final game of the U.S. Tour. We'll be at the United Convention on Sunday before the game for a brunch, pregame party, all of that. It's going to be a really good time. Definitely check out the link in the Twitter description if you're going to be in Las Vegas, and I would love to see you there. It'll be a great event. So thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications on, and I will see you in the next video.